All right, in this episode of I Had to Say It, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is stupidity. You look around, it's all around us, and I swear to God, it's getting worse every day. I honestly, I don't want to come off saying, look, I'm so much smarter than everybody else on the planet because I know I'm not. But honestly, I see things happening every day. I look around and it's like, somewhere out there, there is a shallow grave with the corpse of common sense slowly decaying in it, and it's really just, it's so sad. And I stop and I say to myself, what is wrong with these people? You got people out here that are walking around like they don't have the common sense God gave the dogs to get out of the rain, and it's just so infuriating. And honestly, it's partly our fault. I mean, we as a society, we started idiot proofing everything. And the problem with that is when you idiot proof everything, you take natural selection out of the equation. Some people, you honestly, you can't look around and tell me you haven't looked at somebody and just go, how are you still alive? And it's not just because, some of these people are infuriating. It's not just because some of these people, don't have the common sense of a bag of 10-penny nails. It's just, you see things that are just so blatantly and aggressively dumb. And I understand some things, like we put things in place because we're trying to keep, kids safe or something. But, anytime you pick up a product and you see a warning label on it and you say to yourself, did they really have to put that label on this particular product? You need to stop and remind yourself that label's printed on there because somebody somewhere did it. And whatever they did that was dumb enough to get a warning label printed on something was not dumb enough to be fatal, because they managed to get either a lawsuit out there or a report of it happening, and all of a sudden, you got "do not eat" printed on the stuff that comes inside your brand new shoes. And sadly enough, there's probably still people out there that wind up trying to eat the crap. And it's just it's terrible. It's horrible. And we all have our moments too. I mean, we all do dumb stuff every once in a while. Something just where you're not thinking, and you catch yourself, and like the old V8 commercials, you smack yourself in the forehead and go, Jesus, what was I doing? I mean, it could be anything simple from, setting something down, turning around, and then knocking it over because you forgot it was there 30 seconds later, to, looking at a spray can and going, hey, it's not working, looking at the nozzle and pushing the button again. Like, you're going to be able to see why it's not working if it's broken, or if it all of a sudden decides to start working and you blast yourself in the face with whatever happens to be in the can. And we all have those moments, and it's okay when it's a moment, but I look around and I see people that are actively going through life from moment to moment, and it's just a daisy chain of the dumbest crap. And on top of it being dumb, you got people out there that are getting mad at the people who witnessed them doing something stupid. I was at a unnamed retail big box store today. I mean, unfortunately, there's not a lot of local options around here, and what I needed, I couldn't get around here, so I went to the local big box retailer, and just walking through the parking lot, and looking around and kind of shrugging my shoulders and reminding myself why it is I like to stay the hell away from most people. And I see a young lady, had to be, it's kind of hard to tell when everybody's got a mask on, but had to be early 20s. I'm guessing based on clothing style, and didn't carry themselves like somebody with a lot of care and concern, but that could also be just being stupid and subsequently not being burdened. And this girl was so focused on doing, she was multitasking, I'll give her that. She was doing something on her phone, talking into the headset that was attached presumably to her phone, but she was typing something while she was talking. I don't know if she was, video blogging or on a phone call and, updating some social media at the same time. Regardless, walking down the center line of a parking lot, not paying attention to where she's going, not watching what she's doing, walks into the cart corral. Now, the cart corral, I'm sure everyone knows, is where you're supposed to return your shopping cart when you're done shopping, not leave it behind the car park next to you, not shoving it off in the middle of an empty space. That's where you're supposed to put the cart so the cart does not roll freely and does not damage other vehicles. Some people aren't capable of that. That's a different degree of stupid. That's also lazy. That's not what I'm complaining about. The cart corral is in a parking space between two other cars. I'm about, 20, 25 spots back from the entrance of the store. It's like the second or third cart corral out. It is solid cars from the handicap spaces all the way back. This girl had to beeline in between a parked car and walked into the cart corral. Literally busted her stomach on the edge of the cart corral. Proceeded to look up and say, "What the hell is this bullshit?" Okay, I get it. You can be embarrassed. You can be a little bit mortified you did something dumb. But what the hell is this bullshit? I don't get it. It causes me frustration when I see these things. And I see them all the time, all around. Businesses, schools, I've seen people do things that have gone anywhere from like, okay, they're not thinking, to seriously, how have you not, taken yourself out of the equation at this point? I saw a guy one day, and this was not a young guy either. This was an older guy. We're at the hardware store. He is sitting there. He's counting stuff. Apparently has a hard time counting all these bolts and shit. Takes them and puts a handful of nuts in his mouth. And I'm not talking like, peanuts or pistachios. I mean, zinc oxide coated steel nuts that you screw onto a bolt. He could have set them down. He could have done anything with them. He looked around, realized he didn't have a pocket on his shirt, and popped them in his friggin' mouth. I mean, just foregoing the hygiene issue of you don't know where those things have been. You don't know who's been digging around in those bins. For shit's sakes, all you got to do is hiccup and you're gonna choke. I'm dumbfounded by these things. I'm mystified. And I'm looking at him going, this is probably one of those people that spent their life growing up, with lead paint, and they were saying, boy, this wall candy's delicious. And somehow made it this long. And I stopped and I said to myself, maybe they made it this long because we're making it easier to survive.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
We put warning labels on things, do not eat, do not ingest, do not drink. There is literally no reason it should say do not drink on the side of a can of paint. None whatsoever. We should not have to tell people that. Maybe a toddler or a little kid, yes. Grown-ass people that are making these purchases should not have to be told do not drink. And I can understand putting a warning label on the side of a can of spray paint because, we all know that one guy out there. Everybody's seen the picture floating around on the internet, the guy with the golden sparkles all around his mouth and nose. We all know somebody out there that's huffing something. Or maybe not now, but at some point was doing it. So yeah, you got to put a warning label on that. You got to cover yourself because people are, going to deliberately do dumb things sometimes. But honestly, at the end of the day, how are we enabling this? Why are we enabling this? And, why is stupidity... I mean, they used to say stupidity should be painful. Stupidity is painful. The problem is every time we find somebody that does something stupid and hurts themselves, instead of going, okay, good, that's a lesson, you won't do that anymore, we go, okay, we got to fix it so that doesn't hurt. And before anybody gets bent out of shape and starts crying about, oh, they just don't know any better, there's a reason they don't know any better. You can only justify so much stuff. You can't keep enabling these situations. You can't keep saying, oh, well, they didn't know any better, so it's okay. We're destroying the learning curve simply by, removing all these possibilities And then, so when people are confronted with things that require, simple common sense, which is no longer common. All right, and lastly, just to kind of button this up and, bring this little rant to an end, I guess, real briefly, because I honestly don't know how much of this qualifies as stupidity and how much of it just falls into the category of not giving a shit. But, the death of class, and, you got all the websites out there basically dedicated to pictures of people, either wearing something ridiculous or insanely dumb out in public, and just generally being disgusting, doing nasty crap out in, everything from, that lady sitting in a case of meat with her ass all up over the food that other people are going to have to buy, not giving a damn. But the problem is, I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if it's stupidity or just not giving a shit. But cameras are everywhere. Now more than ever, I'm so glad I'm not growing up in today's environment, because all the dumb crap I did when I was a kid, it exists in my head and anybody that happened to be there at the time. Beyond that, it's your word against mine. And today, you got kids that are actively going out, doing dumb shit and recording it, deliberately creating a record of them doing something stupid or disgusting or, just unsafe. I mean, dumb, dangerous crap. All these viral internet challenges, you had people eating spoons full of cinnamon. Yeah, it's not, most likely not going to kill you, but you know how goddamn dumb that is? And these kids are recording themselves doing it and uploading it so people will click on it like, oh my God, that's so funny. That's not funny. You're a goddamn idiot, and you're causing yourself to suffer for the attention of random strangers. I don't get it. It is active, voluntary stupidity. And are people so desperate for attention now that that's what we're embracing? That's how people think you're supposed to get somewhere? That's how you're supposed to get noticed? It goes back to the feedback, people talk about raising kids, and you got kids that are acting out because they can't differentiate between negative attention and positive attention. They don't get positive feedback in their life, so they'll take any feedback they can get. And that's a goddamn shame. It's a tragedy. I feel so bad for kids that are in that situation. That's kids. After you hit the age of like 15 and you actually have some logic and some reason, and you're doing a bunch of dumb crap and recording it so other people can look on it and click a button and go, that's funny. Seriously, that is so stupid. And the icing on the cake with all these voluntary recordings of yourself doing dumb things is this. Once it's out there and you put it out on the internet and you upload it, it's out there forever. You can try and delete it. You can try and take it down. Once you put it out there, it can come back. And someday, depending on the degree of stupidity and on what you're trying to accomplish with your life, it can pop up real sudden and bite you square in the ass. I mean, it could be anything. We have celebrities, people that are established, social figures, people that are professional comedians, people that are professional, politicians, business people that said or did something that either at the time was not considered dumb, or more importantly, had the potential to be extremely dumb or divisive if taken out of context, put it on the internet years ago, and all of a sudden had it dragged up by somebody who was looking to torpedo something they were either trying to accomplish or something they had accomplished. There are people out there, there are celebrities out there, who have made jokes about topics that at the time when they made the joke, it was okay. Society changed the standard for what's acceptable and what's taboo. A joke that was made 15 years ago all of a sudden costs you the opportunity of a career or of a lifetime, or one of those goals that you set as a professional in something you're doing. And next thing you know, it's taken away from you because of something you put on the internet, years and years prior to this even becoming a possibility. And nobody thinks about it. And nobody takes that into consideration. And, oh, well, this is going to go viral. I'm going to throw it up online. Yeah, that's great. Until it's not. And that's what makes it stupid.